All Progressive Congress in Rivers State has set up a panel of inquiry to investigate the bombing of the party secretariat that took place on the eve of the October 5 local government elections in Rivers State. Let me start with you, Nze. What do you make of this development?
You know, it is right that people say that when you are rejected, you don't reject yourself. The comment of APC chairman, Honorable Tony Okocha, that governor refused to include the bombing of APC secretariat in the inquiries that the panel he constituted needed to carry out. It's a good one that he himself, if the governor refused to include that incidents to the issues the panel needed to look into, he had to form his own. Because, you know, that day that thing happened, you asked me a question when I told you that that bombing had to come from within. And you needed to know which part of within I meant. And I left that with you and the rest of Nigerians who were watching to come up with. And now that he has formed, the APC, Rivers State has formed a panel of inquiry, it is advised that the panel chairman and members should be able to go with equity and be conscientious in their investigation. Because this is Nigeria. We all own this country. Irrespective of your party affiliation, Nigeria belongs to all of us. Okay. Good enough. So, someone can be in APC today and tomorrow be in PDP. So while in APC, do not kill PDP. Because tomorrow APC might come against you and you go to PDP. While in PDP, you don't kill Zenith Labour Party and all that. People should be able to play this game with clear mind, understanding that it is all about interest and perhaps what comes to one at a particular point in time. But now that he has formed the panel, let the chairman, in fact, let the panel be able to be holistic in their finding. Right. And when they are doing their finding, let them also communicate the masses, because when you don't tell us what you are doing, when we don't understand what you are doing, we may be forced to devise our own story and tell it the way we'll tell it. And sometimes when we tell it, we say that we are wrong because you did not communicate us. So let them keep Nigerians communicated. Let them keep the people in view of what they are doing, and God will help. If at the end of the day, anybody is indicted, let that person answer for it. All right, very because well, it is wrong for that office to be bombed on the very day of election. So let them be truthful about it, and whoever is indicted should face the law.
All right. Interestingly, you talked about, you made mention of what Tony Okocha said about the governor excluding the APC secretariat bombing when he set up the judicial panel of inquiry on the attack on the local government secretariats on October 7. And I recall that severally on this show, we've discussed this, the attack on October 7 and also the judicial panel of inquiry. Now, was this necessary in the first instance if, you know, the governor had set up that judicial panel of inquiry to include every other bombing that happened within that time frame?
Well, you said within time frame. I love that. But you look at it that what governor concentrated himself with was October 7. You recall that there was a bomb blast on October 5. There was a previous bomb blast in APP secretariat. There were a series of bomb blasts in the past. Right. But governor, in his wisdom, chose to concentrate on October 7. Right. And if peradventure Rivers people had to bring him back to look into all these ones, it is still possible that he can constitute a judicial panel of inquiry on those bombings and all that. But you see, APC, in their wisdom still, felt that governor have not really remembered them. Because if they said that governor failed to include October 5 bombing, they should also know that the APP session was bombed. Right. So, but APP have not come to say this or that. But I'm speaking as a Nigeria. I am not for APC, I'm not for APP, I'm not for PDP, I'm not for anybody, I'm for Nigerians. All right, and we should understand it from that angle. So now, if the governor refuses to, or I wouldn't say refuse because we've not really heard from him, but if the governor...
You said the governor in his wisdom,
yeah,
which you have
chose to concentrate on this October 7
Now, if I very quickly before I move on to the next person and say, now, is the governor of a set of people. Can the governor choose governance? Is governance selective? Is governance preferential? Because, I mean, from what you are saying the governor in his wisdom chose to investigate the attacks on these secretariats on October 7, but the ones that happened in his wisdom, he chose not to do. I have also asked questions about why is the governor not even asking questions around the incidents surrounding the bombing of the River State House of Assembly complex. I've asked these questions over and over again, but you're saying it's okay for the governor to be selective.
No, you asked a question.
If
governance is selective,
yes.
If governance is preferential, there are truths. And that is what I stand for.
All right.
There are truths that are not being said, but they happen.
Go ahead,
from time immemorial, from the history of mankind, governance has always been selective.
All right.
Yeah. Do you know why? Look at what happened in Egypt. You see the activities of.
Are we going to the Bible right now?
No. You know, I am a priest.
Then why do you?
I must include my culture. I must include my culture in whatever I do. If you look at the governance in Egypt, you see the level of selectivity in that place. If you see the governance even in Israel, I'm quoting ancient times,
right.
And you look at the previous government in River State, it was selective. The government of Muhammad Buhari was selective when he was making all his appointments from his Fulani kinsmen. And the government of Tinubu today is selective because he's making most of his appointments from people from the southwest and not things like that. And nobody has killed him. So it wouldn't come to the time of Governor Sim Fubara and you say it would be.
All right, very well. I respect your opinion. Chizi, you are part of the APC, yes? Were you present at this meeting yesterday? And what is your view on this?
No, I wasn't present because I was waiting to go to this church harvest, and I didn't come forth. That's why I wasn't there.
Okay, go ahead.
He failed me.
The truth is this, for me, it's a bad omen. We're beginning to set very bad precedents because if governor is beginning to allow people to set up the panel of inquiries on things that happens to them, it means that one day armed robbers will go and do something and set up panel of inquiry for themselves. Now you see, when somebody says allude to the fact that the government is becoming selective because the previous government have done that, it looks to me that we must continue on that trajectory because previous government have done that. I said here on television that I have a lot of expectation from Fubara. That's because he's gone through certain civil service protocol. And I think you should do that. All of those that has happened before the local government election. And I've said it here. It looks to me that he is doing that because he already knew those who did that. You know, in Isobo, the local government, the council... local government council, upon arrival at that scene, he said, I'm going to set up a panel of inquiry. I know those who didn't do it. My people didn't do it. Meaning that he knew those who do. So in the previous ones, he already knew that his people did it. And so he shouldn't set up a panel of inquiry. Look at this. If we have said that there are some limitations, even in the panel of inquiry set up by River State government, how about the limitations on the panel of inquiry set up by a party? What is the judicial? What is the bite? Is it like a dog without, a barking bulldog without a bite or something? What are we looking at? Are they just finding this thing to make up facts to proceed to the law enforcement agencies, or facts to go to court, or fast to hold? That's one thing that we must not allow. An establishment as important as the other arm of government, that's the legislative arm of government, that thing was bombed. And the governor refused, became selective, according to Ze, to constitute a panel of inquiry on that is a threat to an arm of government. And let me tell you, without the legislative arm of government, we are running military government. That's all. Because if you look at the past military government we had the judiciary, and then we have the executive, we didn't have the legislature. So legislature is under threat. It looks like SIM is coming from that dictative impulse to begin to do things again like this. And he's allowed people to say, okay, let us set up a panel of inquiry. So APP will set up a panel of inquiry, and then the legislative will set up a panel of inquiry. No wonder he's not
Rivers State House of Assembly
has also done that. So everybody is trying to
inquiry.
defend himself. Now, if we all have to defend ourselves, then there won't be need for a governor. If we all have to defend ourselves. So we have to be careful when things like this happens. You see, it's pure a rude reminder to all of us that the governor has failed in taking his basic responsibility. And not his basic responsibility, the security of his citizens. And that is the basic responsibility of every government. And so the government has failed on doing that. So the party has taken it. What would the party do? They've been there. They probably some suspicions have been made. I was there, the day the election. I went to that place and I saw the level of damage. Some of the ICT department has been damaged. And so it looks like maybe those things are in the government house. If not, why not set up a panel of inquiry to the APP, to the APC, even if they were pseudo, even if they were shadowy kind of, but do it. Let us be that we are all going there now to question certain things, other than just feigning ignorant of the things that's been happening. And then just one day, you find out that there's a local government that's been bombed, and that local government is a target local government. They wanted to target the actors in that local government. All of a sudden, they set up a panel of inquiry, and you already knew those who did it and those who didn't do it. And you now started inviting those who were US and invited FCT minister from Abuja to come immediately. And then in 1 month, the panel of inquiry has concluded you want to implement. Now, these people will not implement this. I wish I was a member of this panel. I'll just tell them, let us write. I saw Sim coming to those places. Will he say no? After all, I saw him in IRISEC. So what is wrong? He's a governor that is going around to do one or two things, of course, including bombing, if he wants. So because anybody is a suspect, all of us who are Rivers people are suspects. But know this, like Nze rightly said, that I'm in APC does not make me less a Rivers person. Or that you are in PDP does not make you less a Rivers person. So we're first Rivers people, and he's not the governor of PDP or APP or that. He's the governor of Rivers State. And should take, those are not the things you take for granted. It's like telling somebody that, governor can be selective in giving the budget or releasing the money to my village. That's why we give governors chieftaincy title when they bring up development in that which is our right, and that which he is elected to do.
All right. Chizi, very quickly before I move on to Michael, I want to ask you, now, this panel of inquiry that is being set up by the APC, does it have any legal backing? Now, Nigerian Constitution empowers certain persons or arms of government to set up panel of inquiry or judicial panel of inquiry or commission, as it were. But in this instance, the APC is setting up a panel of inquiry. Now, does it have any legal backing? Is this panel of inquiry legal?
I'm an APC person, and you wish that I speak.
That's why I asked you that question.
You wish that I speak from the bias angle of it. The answer is no.
All right.
But if you begin to define what is a panel of inquiry, it can just be reduced to, fact finding, trying to find out what has happened. Maybe you will use it, those facts you have found, to now attend. What would have happened is that when they will use it. If that panel of inquiry or this panel of inquiry is deemed illegal, whatever is being, whatever their report is, can it be admissible in courts? That's what I'm saying.
You see,
that's what I said. Look, it may not be admissible because they are not a government agency.
So isn't this a mere exercise?
Now, see, but what that can serve them is that it can act as a fact to writing a petition to the government office. Now, that's what
as long as they can't quote it.
No. Look at what fact is. For instance, people hire independent
private investigators.
And what does the private investigator do? Is to give you facts that you are going to present before the judiciary or the security agencies.
All right.
That's to the extent it can go. But again, I think that is another root call on the governor to do what is needful. Because there's nothing they can do about it. It's just a mere
exercise
telling the world that the governor has failed in this aspect.
All right. Now, you've also given a political undertone or coloration to this whole thing. But then, before I get back to you, Chizi, Michael Kobadia, what do you make of this position by APC?
Well, anyway, forgive my language, it's a bit funny.
Okay.
And the reason I say so, they are not the security agencies. The job of the security agencies are to do the investigation. So I wonder why APC will set up a panel. Why not let the law enforcement agencies do their job? It's there in our constitution. So I just feel, forgive me, I might sound different on this ground. I feel it's just a waste of money, a waste of time. And that's one thing that we keep doing over and over and over again. We keep playing politics with everything. Why not let the natural police, law enforcement agencies do their investigation? When they're done, if you're not satisfied with your findings, then you take a different turn. Why are you now already setting the agenda before the investigations are out? It doesn't make sense. You're now telling the Nigerian police force that you're doing their job on behalf of them. Have they come out with any findings as it concerns the investigation? Are they not doing the investigation as it stands? They are. So I wonder why the APC will go ahead and set up a panel of inquiry. Now, why I say it's politics gone too far, yes, we do understand. They pleaded with the governor to set up a committee, and it really baffles me that he did not. He only stood the ground of looking at the bombing that happened on the 7th or the 5th, rather than also looking, setting up an inquiry into this. But does that make any sense? We keep doing this, and we feel it's right. Let the law enforcement agencies do their job. When you're not satisfied with their finding, yeah, you go ahead. But not setting up, you're now judging a case that you're a part of the case. It doesn't make sense. So this is what we keep doing, and we'll put it in the coloration of, oh, he's right. Everybody can make an investigation at the end, bring that. Yes, we do understand. But if we keep having the disbelief of our usual system, of structures that are there to do their job, then there's no point to even having the governor, there's no point having the legislature, the executive, and every other arm of government. There's no point. So for me, I feel there's no need setting up a panel. Let the Nigerian police force do their job. If you're not satisfied with it, come out with your own different finding. But don't place the cart before the horse. Place the horse before the cart.
Now, when you talk about the security agencies,
yes,
let's x-ray the activities of the security agencies in River State crisis so far, and how well they have fared.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, the bombing of River State House of Assembly complex.
Yes.
The police is here to come out with a comprehensive report of finding on what happened, to the extent that the public know. 4 members of the River State House of Assembly were suspended on allegation of the bombing of the River State House of Assembly complex. Now, some persons were arrested, and I am very much aware that some persons were prosecuted, but then after that first arraignment before the courts, that matter is just literally dead. Like every other matter in Nigeria. Like every other matter. Now, moving forward to the bombing of the APP secretariat, the police made a public statement and said they were investigating the matter. No feedback up until now. I can go on and on and on. Now, let us come down to the crisis that happened on October 7th. I'll use Obiakpo local government as an example. Obiakpo local government shares a fence with the Nigerian police. And for hours, that local government secretariat was under siege. It was under attack. The Nigerian police shares a fence with Obiakpo local government. Where was the Nigerian police? The same Nigerian police that was barricading that local government up until that morning when the IGP of police, Ebetokon, asked them to vacate the local government so that the newly elected chairman can enter. And after that, so one would now wonder, could this be a pointer to the fact that, to a large extent, there is loss of confidence on the efficacy of the Nigerian police force to investigate matters as it concerns the River State crisis, to investigate matters and come up with reports or findings and even prosecute people who have been indicted?
If I would say, if you want to put it this way, let's say one thing I've really come to discover in River State is they seem to make everything play or revolve around politics. The reason I say this is, okay, well, the Nigerian police have not been able to do what they feel they need to do. But what makes the APC feel that even after this finding, anything will come out from that they're finding? Because definitely they are not the ones to persecute whoever. They're always going to call out names, which some persons are now already beginning to feel it's a script being written and being handled by the executive of the APC in River State. So they are going to come out with names that many persons feel, well, yeah, definitely they will going to come out with
Isn't
names.
that what is also playing out with the governor's judicial panel of inquiry? Because,
like Chizzy said,
what I'm saying. The governor had said prior to this time that
is
they
what
are
I'm
not,
saying.
these people are not part of it.
That is what I'm saying. It's a waste of money.
On both sides?
On both sides. I'm not in any political party. But what I am is I'm a Nigerian. And if we keep looking at it, okay, well, let the police be indicted on that. Let us come out to say they did not do their job. But don't do their job for them. Please, let's respect the institutions. Let's respect them. Now, you're coming up with the panel of inquiry, which everybody is already beginning to say, well, we'll know names that will be mentioned at the end of it. Look at, with no disrespect, but look at the people that are there on the panel. And look at the other side of the APC. And even look at even the governor and others in the PDP. It's already a rancor. And we'll know names that will definitely come out at the end of it. So for me, I think there's no point doing this. Because at the end, APC will still say the Nigerian police, or PDP will say the Nigerian police is taking side. So even if you come out with this inquiry and you come out with names and that, how are you sure that the police will even effect such arrest? So for me, sorry, it's just a waste.
And to a large extent, in your opinion, like I asked Chizzy, do you think this panel of inquiry has any legal backing to it? Is it legal?
It doesn't.
So whatever
finding, and the question I want to ask, are they now going to, in law, call evidence, call witnesses, call people to testify, especially from the opposition, especially names they feel are that are susceptible or that they are well involved? Do they have the right to call them? Would they come even if they do? So what am I saying?
Well, is the panel of inquiry, is it binding? Even their summons.
So
it's not binding.
It's not binding.
It's not binding.
That's what it brings me to what I said initially. It's a waste of time.
Now, we were discussing about on selective governance.
Yeah.
You know, when they brought up the issues of the governor having the prerogative to choose what to investigate and what not to investigate in Rivers State. Let's look at governance a bit. To a large extent, how do you think that this whole crisis in Rivers State has affected governance in Rivers State, considering, by the way, that now there is the issue of Rivers State running without a budget, and considering, of course, that the budget has a lifespan. I mean,
there's almost a lapse.
In fact, it will elapse in a few days. And up until now, 2025 budget is yet to be presented. Looking at everything that is on ground right now, how do you think this has affected governance in Rivers State? A lot of persons say that governance is going on. The governor has come out to say that there has been increased IGR to the tune of over 13 billion as against what was coming in before in Rivers State. Now, these are, things that have been laid out. But of a truth, what do you think about governance in Rivers State vis-a-vis Rivers State political crisis?
Now, that's why I said initially that it looks as if Rivers State is net deep into playing politics rather than governance. Now, you asked me how these have affected. Let me just bring up something that is in public space and something that came out yesterday. The National Bureau of Statistics came out yesterday to say that Rivers State is among the states that did not attract any foreign direct inflow in the last 1 year. Interesting. And this is a state that has the second largest, as it concerns value-added tax. I'm just talking about value-added tax. Because in every way it's explaining what the economy of Rivers State has. And why has that been so? No foreign investment has come into the state because of what is playing out. I will not be a fool to bring my money into a place that is unstable. Now, this is what it means, in case of those that really do not understand. When there's no foreign direct inflow into your state, it means your state is losing job creation, is losing development, is losing respect, not just locally, but internationally. It concerns a haven for investment. And it means, forget the internally generated revenue. Yes, it's there. But it's also losing all those indices that talks about growth. So what I'm saying is that the Rivers State people are also playing the politics and forgetting the governance. These are for the APC, these are for the APP, these are for the PDP. And at the end, it's the Rivers State people that suffer. So I feel it has greatly affected governance as it concerns the state. And if, forgive my language, if the Rivers State people do not wake up, well,
it's just the beginning.
Well, at this point, I will come back to you, Nze, because Nze, you have been of the opinion that governance has been going on in Rivers State, and I want you to marry what is going on once again. And when you talk about governance going on in Rivers State, what sector, what angle are you looking at?
You know, when we talk about governance, it is about reaching the people.
Okay.
Reaching the electorate. Reaching even those who didn't participate in election, but the masses. And in Rivers State, to a large extent, governance is going on. You might say, like you rightly say, that Rivers State is running without budget. But I strongly believe that Rivers State is running with a budget, because it was presented, even though you have your right not to maybe acknowledge a certain group or a certain faction of the legislature. But
who has the right?
I say everybody, each individual. When I say
the
you,
governor in this instance.
When I say you,
we are discussing about the governor and governance.
No, governor. You cannot exclude the people from governance. So when you mention governor, you have to look at the people. When you look at the people, you have to look at if we must.
You're saying the people have a right to
choose,
recognize
to recognize any faction
of Rivers State
this
House
two.
of Assembly.
Yeah, because we have two factions now.
Right.
People have their rights, and it is to the extent to which your right make impact.
So now,
to the governor,
yes,
he recognized the foreman legislature.
We are talking about governance, not
and he presented his budget to them, and they approved it, and he's using it to run. Yes, we know that this government of Selective have really experienced a lot of brouhaha, a lot of trouble, a lot of turmoil here and there, and that is why you see that the foreign investors are not coming in. And at first, we cried foul when this trouble began to come. We say, look, Rivers State will lose. The people of Rivers State will lose. And we also advise those who were forming the trouble to calm down. Because if you claim you love Rivers State, allow Rivers State to thrive. Allow Rivers State to move forward. So I see that as it stands today, governance is ongoing. Even though the governor has not really reached to the extent we expected, but you know that Rome is not built in a day. So he has started from somewhere. You see schools being renovated. You see him establishing new ones. You see roads. And as it stands today, he's going to commission new roads that he has built in Rivers State. And people are enjoying. You see from the local government angle, there is governance ongoing.
We are not looking at the local government.
Yes, I'm just telling you this.
The local government has its own allocation.
But to a very large extent, the state is influencing the local government.
We are looking at the activities.
If the governor is not on the local government chairman, they might just do what they like. So to a very large extent, the governor, Selective, as he stands today, is doing well.
Okay, he's doing well, and everything you've talked about. On one hand, you said he's doing well. On the other hand, you're defending why governance, to some extent, appears to be stalled in Rivers State. That appears to be
investment, not governance. Not governance. I've not said that, except if you are putting that to me. But I've not said that governance is being stalled. But investment, especially foreign investment. But we see that even the government of Selective is also initiating investments here and there.
Can you tell me the things that are tied to foreign investment and development in a state? Can you answer that?
Well, to a large extent, if you want me to educate us on that, we may take it up from an angle. One, if there is foreign investment, let's take for instance, tomato producing company comes to Rivers State. It will bring employment to the people in the rural areas. It will bring employment to some experts, people who are good in agricultural development, those who are good in manufacturing, those who will man the plants that will be established and all that. So you see that it is bringing employment. Number two, it will improve market value in Rivers State. Now, if there is any foreign investment coming in the area of cassava processing, it will also affect both the farmers in the rural areas. And these things are not coming because investors are being careful not to put their money in an unstable environment.
While I do not want to, go into so much around the economics of what you have said, the little that you have mentioned, to a large extent, does it trickle down to governance or not?
Yeah.
Well, you've
To a
answered,
large
the,
extent.
you've answered the question. Chizi, what do you make of Rivers State's crisis and governance, and what is the way forward at this point? Because it appears that both factions have refused to meet each other or compromise. And then finally, Chizi Nze said something that I will also want you to react to when he talked about Rivers people being at liberty to de-recognize a faction of a House of Assembly, including the governor, can choose to recognize or de-recognize the House of Assembly and also choose whom to work with.
When we came discussing the APC, in Rivers State, even though I am a stakeholder of the APC, I did come out openly to tell you that what they did was illegal. That's because I'm first a Rivers person before any other thing. Not even the governor have a right to recognize or de-recognize somebody. It is not him. It is the law that says this is the person. And the governor, see, when you're talking about the FDIs, that's the foreign investment. One of the things they look at is governance. Political stability. If they don't find governance, they will not invest. So if you find a state that those people are not coming, it means that there's no governance in that state. It doesn't matter what you feel. In the first instance, the man is stealing. The man is spending stolen money.
Stolen money?
Yes.
How do you mean?
Let me define it.
Yes, please.
Stolen money because the money that is not appropriated for is stolen.
You can't say it's stolen.
Where do you get the money? See, the governor has. Let me tell you, the governor has.
When you say the governor is spending stolen money, number one, the money is not stolen, Chizi, and by extension, you're calling the governor a thief.
That's what I said.
I'll not let you do that.
You can be spending money you did this thief or somebody stole. So I didn't say he's a thief, but I said the money is stolen.
Where did they steal it?
No, excuse me. Let me tell you why. There are sources of revenue. One is internal generated revenue. And do you know that this internal generated revenue are captured in the budget of the state? And budget is expected expenditure first and before the expenditure itself. Just understand. So that if it is not even captured, if that thing is not captured, it becomes illegal. That's number one.
To spend.
To spend. It becomes illegal to spend. And number two, the governor has a limit of authorization that he can authorize. Which cabinet system sits to authorize that? His cabinet is also not legal. You're telling me they are not.
Because they were not approved
because
by
they were not approved by the assembly. Now look at when a governor lives above board is when, even if they were all your enemies, assuming that the assemblies were all, I mentioned Lagos in 1991-92, wherein an RC governor was under the, we had SDP assembly versus an RC governor.
Yep.
And then he will go there. They were in court. He was in court with them. But he will go there, present his budget, go there, present his nominees for election. And they were doing that. Now, this governor is saying, no, I need to choose my brother. They talked about selective. So he chose somebody from Andoni, Opopo, and Bonny, his own kinsmen. And then they became assembly. He took those people to government house. In the first place, where does the assembly sit? They started sitting in government house, and then he took one to be chief of staff, and so they stayed there, marshal out money, and then he says not stolen because it's just that's calling it. What is it? A money. If you see, what is misappropriation? What is misappropriation in the first instance? That is even when it's appropriated for. Then imagine when you are spending money that is not appropriated for. What do you mean? So somebody that will come. So you know what we'll do. That is the reason why I said the value system of Nigeria is dying on a daily basis. You see a young girl come to, before when you see a young person come, with a vehicle to your house, the first question will be, how did you make the money? Now, the governor comes to dash you money and he said, then you take it because you don't know whether he makes the money legally or not. So how can anybody, any same person invest in Rivers State when we do not have budget? So let me tell you, government is the highest grantor of any investment. Government is the highest, including NGOs. NGO investments. Government is the highest grantor. So no person will come and begin to give appendages to someone because it has to go through the house, including borrowing money. So the money was not borrowed. The money was not done. So where are we spending this money? I say governance is going on. What is governance?
Okay, very well.
What is going on is Sim is dressing up, buying clothes for his people and dashing them money. And dashing church's money, including his church. That's why they are dashing 200 million to church. Dashing them.
You can't say that he dashed in this church.
How much did he give to the church?
Did he give to this church?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Now you have said you don't know, so you just made a statement.
Well, anyway, this is what I said initially, that the Rivers people are playing politics with their own
I
future.
understand.
They are playing politics with their future. A state that is one of the second most viable states in the country as it stands, even not even better than Lagos. I feel if they get their linings right, they will even be richer than Lagos. Because look at the lots of lucrative investment that seems to be here. In the whole Niger Delta, Rivers controls it. But they've not been able to get it right because of politics. And if we keep coming here and talking about governance, talking about foreign direct inflows, and the people are not, they are still choosing which camp to sit, which camp to stay, then they are not ready for a change.
Ooh. Michael, very quickly before we round off, you talked about value-added tax, and
Yes.
I appear to be very interested in that. Very quickly, looking at the tax reform bill that is ongoing now, and the fact that, going by what is going on in Rivers State, it appears that it will have negative influence on Rivers State. First of all, to a large extent, Lagos, FCT, and Port Harcourt appears to be the greatest beneficiary in the current
And the
VAT
greatest
payment
generators.
system. Yes.
They generate more than any other
Very
state.
well, in the current VAT payment system. However, from how they intend to share the derivation, if this tax bill flies, now it will now move from headquarters to areas of consumption, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, what it means is, to a large extent, what some of the headquarters here, some of these incomes will reduce to a large extent, and then money will now move into other states.
Yeah.
Now, with the FDIs not even coming in right now, considering that to a large extent, if this tax reform bill flies, then our VAT as well in Rivers State will be greatly reduced. How do you see this affecting the economy of Rivers State?
Okay, I beg to differ. And the reason I beg to differ, let's look at it. In 2024, first quarter, Rivers State generated close to 50 billion as in VAT, second highest only after Lagos. Now, with the new tax reform bill, it now gives the federal 10%, the state 55,
and local
the local
government
government 35. Now, what this does, it depends on your derivation. Rivers generate a lot. So we're expecting Rivers to gain a lot. But this is the beauty and why I differ. Now, why I differ, if you look at it, they are now talking about where you generate more, you get more.
Yeah.
That's the idea. And that's why even the northern states are not happy about it. Because you would understand, why would you blame them? A state that do not admire the consumption of alcohol, they prohibit it. But they do. But they want to get value-added tax for it. It's just like, forgive my language, you're done with a woman, as she's going, you're still looking at her backside. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
But what I'm indirectly saying is, with this new sharing formula, each local government area would now need to do more as it concerns generating income. Industrialization will come, and I feel that will be very helpful to those states or local government that seems not to be viable. Some few local government areas are the one taking Rivers States. They are the one controlling the bill. They are the one encouraging investment. They are the one generating more value-added tax than the others. So it means everybody now has to sit up, bring more industrialization, and work to see what you gain. So for me, I feel it's more of a gain-gain. A win-win for those local government that are doing well, and a beginning for a change for those that are just sleeping.
No, I think, I don't know, but I just wanted to say this, that it's also a threat to us. Let me tell you why it's a threat. You know, in 2000, for instance, Rivers State was almost running about with Lagos. So you could see that our budget, for instance, then was 450 billion naira, and Lagos was about 500 and something billion naira. So it's about 50 billion if you stagger it. Now Lagos is going to trillions, and we are still in billions, right? Now what is that? In then 2000, Larissa, I used to accuse you on air here that maybe you weren't born then. Then 2000, if you notice that you see a Harold, a Harris, and all of that, they're not just names given by, they are names given by certain white fathers. to our people. But that's because if you came to Port Harcourt, then you see a lot of white men. And then by 2003, we started kidnapping the white men. We thought we were kidnapping the white men. We didn't know we were kidnapping our employment, our internally generated revenue. We were kidnapping them. And so while they were moving out, Beggar moved out, other companies, Bata that I went to school with, like you weren't born on the Bata was profiting here that I went to school with. Then we started kidnapping those Batas and those employments. All of a sudden, if you notice, the highest employment in Rivers State now is politics. That's why we're no longer employed. The highest politics now. That's why you see all commerce are saying anything, so you can be chairman of a party and begin to do things that no. There are things that you can do, that you can announce that no, police, please set up this, or government, you must set up this. That's why a lot of people come. But now the threat now is the entire oil and gas section. 80% of our oil and gas industry, those who take off the resources from here, their staff pay tax from Lagos because their head office is in Lagos. So why would they stay here? Because the place is insecure. Because we have not done the things that are right. So even if we are jubilating today that tax is going to bring us more money, that's because we are looking at the natural resources that they must come to dig. Sometimes they may take it online, via the other route, and take it from another state. You may be here. So the first thing we need to do is to begin to do the right things, so that those things, before we now begin to talk about creativity. I am telling you that I wish that one day the government will just announce that no allocation again. So we'll begin to see whether you can begin to create wealth in this atmosphere.
All right, very well.